So good morning from Sleepless in Dubai. My name's Julie Mallon and we are live from 25 Hours. I am the founder of Nurture to Sleep. My background is very much based evidence, research, and all things family, and of course, all things sleep. I am the mother of 3 adult daughters, and I'd now like to hand over to my co-host, Laura.
Yes, my name is Laura Buckwell. I'm an international event MC. I am a broadcast journalist and former TV news anchor, and most importantly, a mother of 2. And we are very privileged to have on the podcast today the incredible, the very beautiful Suki Lu, who is an ex-TV presenter, an entrepreneur, and she very much works very closely with the government and even speaks Arabic, and she's here with us today.
Thank you, Laura. Hello, everyone. So happy to be here.
So fantastic to have you here. We love your energy. Tell us about yourself and your journey into entrepreneurship, as well as your TV background. Where did it all start?
Well, I think, like everyone came to Dubai. So now I've been living in Dubai like for the past 10 years. And I believe, like Dubai is the dream of a lot of people. Everyone came here. Like I came here like 10 years ago, like everyone else. We always say this like, okay, another 2 years. It's like everyone's story. And we all ended up here for such a long time. I've seen people, they say, okay, I'm just come to Dubai for 2 years. And they ended up here like 20, 30 years. Like it's happening like every day. So 10 years ago, like I came to Dubai. I was a TV presenter with a Chinese TV. And then I started to have like my TV show, and I was like interviewing different celebrities. When I come in over here, we discuss like what's happening between the Middle East and China. So when we're talking about China, we're talking about like 1.4 billion people. So for the TV station, we have like 1.4 billion subscribers. So it's like we talk about the numbers like really, really massive.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah, so I was really lucky. I had a show and I interview all of these, incredible people. And they're super successful, even like a lot of entrepreneurs, And then I was like, okay, so this is like my playground, but I was already like very happy, what I was doing. Then until one day, like my producer, she's been always like very, very tough with me, like my agent back then. So she was like, why don't you go to learn Arabic? Because we have a lot of chance to interview a lot of, like Middle East celebrity, like Nancy Ajram, like Burkis, I was like, oh, really? And then I just, wanted to try, and I went to school. So that 2 years of my life was really crazy.
So you speak fluent Arabic now?
Yeah, and then after I do news in Arabic.
That's incredible.
It's really hard.
Really hard.
So but while the time I was in the school, I was the only Chinese, and my teacher, she doesn't have any mercy on me. She said, if you can speak Chinese, for sure you can speak Arabic. Excuse me, I grew up with Chinese, and then like learning Arabic, it's a very, very difficult journey. Because back then, like daytime, I was in the TV studio, and then like after work, like I go to the school, But I also pushed myself very hard. I did 3 hours a day, like this kind of life for 2 years. Yeah.
Oh, this is this is so interesting because, when we're looking at sleep work, particularly with our children, one of the things I really, really impress on parents is that sleep is about building resilience. And resilience is not born, resilience is learned. So you're doing that for those 3 hours every day. You've really demonstrated your resilience as a human being. That's what we want.
Yeah, but like back then, I don't have any sleeping issue. No, like now today. It's like today. So after like the TV career, now I'm like after 10 years here, I have 2 companies in Dubai. One is the PR agency. The other one is I own the events management company. So when you have your own business after, and you start to have so much like sleeping issues.
I can't even imagine.
Yeah, you manage your stuff, and then like also you every day like 24 hours is really like not enough. You really need 25 hours.
And here we are.
Yeah, exactly.
But interestingly, we were talking earlier on a previous podcast about if you're a 7 or a 9 hour sleeper, or if 8 hours. Now, if you're having 8 hours, then you're waking up in the middle of a sleep cycle.
Yeah.
So it really is your 7 or 9 hours. But most importantly, if you get the good quality sleep,
yeah,
and I'm not advocating this, But if you get the good quality sleep, and the research is really clear, 6.5 hours of good quality sleep is going to enable you for your memory restoration to function. Because there's a lot of experts that out there now who are really educating your high-level entrepreneurs, your huge CEOs, because the reality is you can't get.
I really agree what you just said, because, well, it's my assistant. She was telling me, Mother, you didn't sleep well yesterday, because like the second day I feel like grumpy. You don't know, like one small things can make you like exploded, So I really believe it's sleeping, or like you need to also like eat properly, like the whole thing, you need to be like on track.
Yeah. And if we're looking, you were talking about coming over here from China, and culturally, China actually places a huge amount of priority and with sleep, culturally in your wellness. So you were saying that you're not getting enough sleep, or you might be not having it. If we look at China as a country, we know now in terms of the data, China is getting below average globally in terms of sleep. If we look at technology, that China has a high usage of technology, and technology, has a huge impact when it comes to sleep. But again, growing up, what would you say your relationship was around sleep?
Trust me, I try everything, try to have a good sleep, I would tell you one of my experience, every time, like when I go back to China, we have like this kind of a spa place. It's like therapy, but they have, for example, like if you go to a sauna and like you're in a very warm place and then you sweat, then you're like this kind of ritual. But in China, there's a proper place, not really like very often, like people, they know like where to go these places, but because on our body and the Chinese medicine, we have a lot of different pressure, so you will so if we talk about like back like 5,000 years ago, there are certain like very old Chinese doctors, they know what to press on your body, and then you will like fall asleep. I've been trying so hard, try to find this kind of certain point like where I can fall asleep, try for so long. Then I found one place in Shanghai. They're like, so basically they just do like normal massage or like certain point. And then you were in the bathroom. It's like when you're in a sauna, but it can only fit yourself. And then they steam you. And then you feel like super, super relaxing. And then they put you in the bed and they put some like herbal or something. It smells like very much like lavender, but you fall asleep and deeply. Yeah. This is what I was so obsessed with, for like person like me, I have like sleeping problem, So that was, the thing I really, really missed about China, like if I go there, like I was really the first place to go. Yeah.
It's amazing. So tell us a little bit more about Chinese sleep culture then, and are there sort of different aspects within each generation as well?
So let's say like the sleeping culture, like certain ritual, I would say the young generation, the old generation are very, very different. I did some research from my site yesterday before I come here on the podcast. So I know like there are a lot of old Chinese women, they're like average age will be like 1,000 and two. 100. Sorry, 1,000 is like a turtle. Sorry,
that's amazing. Wow.
No, sorry, 100, 102, 104 something. So like people, they asking them like what you really do to keep yourself healthy and to living this long, and the answer they give it to people are very interesting. Make a guess what they will say. Like, do you think like they don't smoke or they don't drink or?
Well, yeah, you'd expect it to be nutrition and as a slow pace of life, I would have thought, right?
What do you think, Julie?
You wouldn't have technology, for example?
They say stay away from men, first of all.
Number one.
No, joke aside. But they do things like very properly. For example, the old generation, they will always have like the food spa before they go to sleep. Very, very hot water. And then it also puts like the Chinese herbal also. Sometimes even with like a lot of material inside, it can be the Chinese ginger. Ginger is amazing thing. Ginger is like the amazing thing for everything, you know, almost everything. You know, like it stimulates your metabolism, you know, and also like they do, I don't know, like a lot of this kind of, they put the herbal in a pack and like a teapot, you know, and then they burn it, and then they put it in the water, and then because the feet are very, very important, you know, these old ladies, they never have their bare feet walking on the ground because the temperature on the grounds like comes to very cold to your body. As in general, like we women, like our body temperature like are lower than the men, like in general, you know.
Right.
So they always wear socks, you know, and especially in Chinese culture, there are certain things like when after women deliver the baby 1 month, it sounds disgusting, but not allowed to let them wash their hair. Because all this coldness, this kind of water intention goes to your body. It's very bad, you know.
Interesting. Wow.
It is interesting, but temperature, you know, plays such an important part in our sleep. And we think about old wives' tales, and very often they don't know it, but there is now a lot of science in all these different aspects. So temperature is absolutely critical. But what we also need to recognize is throughout different stages in our lives, our relationship with sleep changes. So we have different journeys throughout. So premenopausal, our core body temperature is raised, and that has a huge effect.
Can I interrupt you here? Because, you know, I remember there was one time I had this conversation with one of the celebrities I was interviewing my show. He looks like his real age is like 60 or something, but he looks like 30. You know, it's really, really incredible. And I checked very carefully on his face. He didn't do like surgery or something. Because I was like very close with him, you know. Then I asked him like how they can, you know, keep the, first of all, we are Asian. So we are aged like a little bit, not that obvious, you know.
Yeah, you're amazing.
Yeah, but then I asked him, did he did some certain things, you know, to keep him look like this. He always say like he never drink like ice cold drinks, ice cold water, ice cold, you know, like or something. Okay. Yeah. So you notice that like every time when he comes to the show, like he has a assistant gives like a hot tea or something with goji berry, this is amazing for your body.
Nice.
You know. And then so they always keep your body like Julie, she said like the body temperature is very, very important. You know, they never have anything like a super cold.
One of the reasons that we have this is that, you know, the happy hormone, which is serotonin, that 96% of the serotonin that we have is produced in our gut. And therefore it is one of the really fundamental building blocks for sleep. It's one of the converters as well. So when we have the serotonin, then that boosts the melatonin and all those other incredible neurotransmitters. GABA is another very, very important neurotransmitter, which reduces anxiety and which enables us to sleep. So it's really important. But so when we are having like things which are ice cold, we're actually compromising the microbiome in our gut. So that's why having something at room temperature is really important to sustain that very, very important balance of microbiome. So there is so much in that, what you're saying, and about the temperature. Equally, you know, we talk about your hands and feet being the least accurate place, and particularly if I'm thinking about children, the least accurate indicator of your core body temperature, particularly with our babies. But what we also have to recognize is that with our babies and us as adults, if our hands are really, really cold, then that actually traps the heat in our body. And so our body then produces more and more heat because the hands are cold, and then that impacts our sleep.
Yeah.
So the environment in which we sleep in is really important. And I have actually recommended a couple of times to some clients who, for example, their husband likes it really, really cold, and they're freezing. So in order to compromise everyone, I've actually told clients to go to bed with socks, cashmere socks, and it allows your feet to be warm, but for you not to overheat. So that
From tomorrow, Laura, she's gonna check if she has ice cube in the
Because there's nothing better when you come from exercise, you're doing exercise, and it's freezing cold water. It's the most delicious thing. But you'd expect your body to sort of, warm it up immediately. But yeah, that's terrible.
Like I used to have a neighbor, like I saw her in the gym, like 6 o'clock in the morning. She has a bottle of like ice cold water, like she's just drinking. I was like, oh my God, like I cannot even imagine, how bad, like, because you have a lot of coldness, like this water intention, like it keeps in the fire.
I'm never drinking that again,
No, but fortunately, in terms of the gym, it compensates the coldness because actually, with doing the exercise, it is raising your core body temperature. So both of them are helping to compensate.
Regulate.
That's why they say the advice is that not to exercise 3 hours before you go to bed. The reason being because of raising your core body temperature. Because if you raise your core body temperature, it suppresses the melatonin.
For over 30 years, our international team has launched campaigns across continents, bringing some of the world's biggest brands to life. Let our cross-cultural experience engage your audiences. Discover the Mirabelle difference at mirabelle.co.uk.
I would tell you one thing, like I feel like it's the culture difference. I have a lot of girlfriends, they immigrate to the US. So when they deliver the baby, they deliver in US. So after they deliver the baby, and the doctor will give her like a glass of ice cube water, and the mother of my girlfriends, like, they scream. They were like, no, it's not.
Isn't that funny? I don't think I'm ever going to drink iced water again. Oh my goodness. But you're this incredible presence online as well. And you do a lot of jet setting, and you travel the world. And I know you're traveling to China tomorrow.
Yeah.
So how do you manage those sort of 9-hour flights? I mean, I did like a 7-hour flight the other day, and it completely floors you because you don't properly sleep. And I get stuck into the TV and the movies and the on-flight entertainment. So how do you manage that? And do you have any type of routine or any advice you could give travelers?
I always try to have routine, but I ended up, I'm such a free spirit, It's like always out of plan. No, but like on the plane, like I always have this habit. I try to bring my own food, because it's like I love Emirates. Next time Emirates should sponsor us, So most of the time I take Emirates. So they have good food on the aircraft, but I always prefer to bring my own fruits because, like the fruits are so good for your body, and I don't really like to have cold food, So I try to have something simple like nuts or, berries. I love all the berries, raspberry, blueberry, blackberries, all the berries. And then you just try to, by the way, we have this amazing thing in China, this kind of eye pack, like steam, once you open it, like a steam, like, and then it like your eyes. Yes, automatically, not like the steam hot, like, but it's super warm. It's so relaxing.
Oh, is that battery powered, or what is it?
No, it's like, I wish I brought it to like you open it, it's like disposal, so you open it, and
cool. Okay.
So when you sleep on the aircraft, they give you this same thing.
Yeah.
But the one, it just like have a little bit steam, like
the world of eye mask now is so elevated.
Yeah.
There's a company in the US, and the fabric that they're using is engineered to such a way that it obviously keeps everything around you, doesn't let any light in, but it is enhancing for the skin. And there are others which are, like you say, are impregnated with lavender, so it really helps and soothes. So certainly that I would absolutely recommend that an eye mask would be one of the things. In fact, Ariana Huffington, she doesn't go anywhere without her eye mask.
Yeah.
So that she can take a nap, and that we were talking earlier, the nap within the Chinese culture is really from generations. And I think that's really fascinating when we're looking at sleep and cultures. If we look at the Europeans, if we look at the Spanish, if we look at the Greek, if we look at the Italians, the nap culture is so important within, and it's the same in China. We actually have a lot more in common than we do realize with the nap culture.
And what is the perfect nap time?
So again, this is really, really interesting. If we're looking at NASA. So NASA, according to NASA, the perfect nap is 26 minutes. And why?
We know
Why was it?
That's saying it's NASA, and they needed their astronauts to have that sleep that was restorative and replenishing, so memory restoration, and that they can function. And what they found was 26 minutes was the perfect nap. So timing, so that's really important. Yeah.
So you can do that on your flight tomorrow if you need a quick cat nap.
But also the other thing about on your flight is that the first half of your flight, if you can, is that you don't, look at screens. You sleep if you can. And then the latter half, that's when you do your screen. So really try and work with that, because that's what's... And then there's lots of really good apps, but they're talking about NASA. There's a really amazing app, and it's called Night Shift. And this tells you when to drink your coffee, when to drink your water, when to sleep, what food to eat, so to prevent jet lag.
Yeah, very, very interesting, because, like in Chinese culture, each day we have 24 hours. So NASA, you have like when is the best to drink coffee and to sleep. In China, we have a certain hours which is the best for you to sleep. So all of your organ, when they will rest properly. I don't remember all, but I believe the best sleeping time, they mentioned as like these old lady who live so long, above like 100 years old, they sleep like 8 or 9 p.m. Which this time, what are you doing? I mean, I'm working. So like they sleep or 8 or 9 p.m. and then they wake up the following day, let's say around 5 o'clock, something like that. This is the best, but it's very, very hard to follow, as like.
So what you're really referring to here quite often is what we call the genetics. So in terms of genetics, our chronotype. So it's about recognizing what your chronotype is. Are you, as we talked before, are you a lark or are you an owl? And once you identify that, that's when you will find the best time to exercise for you, because it is unique to you. There's no point in you doing exercise first thing in the morning if your chronotype is an owl, because your body is not going to be at its optimum specifically for you. So, in terms of the elderly now, these old wives' tales, that was very relevant for them. But the world in which we now live in, technology is playing a huge factor in disrupting our sleep. But it's not just technology, it's what we're eating, it's the additives in which we're eating. It's, our stress levels, all of these are impacting our sleep in a way that has never happened throughout, from generations to generations. So it's absolutely respecting, our cultures, but really trying to manage and set realistic goals.
But like for me, I'm really, really envy my assistant. She can sleep every single hour and everywhere, Sometimes I even wonder if she can sleep while she's standing. But for me, I always have a problem. Like it takes me so long to try to fall asleep, Like I try to play like sleeping music. I turn off all these, like curtains in my bedroom. But then like it took me so, and because I think maybe this is not only the issue for me, I believe it's for a lot of people. You have so many stress in your mind, so many other things, you think what happened in the daytime and tomorrow, what are you going to do? So you have like so many things and just stop you for having a great sleep, like the quality of the sleeping. So how we can find a better solution.
Yeah, what is the advice, Julie? Educate us.
So we know, for example, that the gold standard, and it's so evidence-based, for insomnia is cognitive behavioural therapy, so CBTI. And in the UK, for example, that is now available on prescription because, of course, sleep is medicine. And, within the culture of China, they have recognised that long before we did, although we've chosen to ignore it here in the West too. But absolutely, looking at different elements such as your environment that you're sleeping. Yes, the darkness of the room, the temperature of the room, what happens before you go to sleep. So there isn't one single component that doesn't support the other. And if all of those components, such as having that half an hour of dial down time, putting your phone so your phone absolutely not coming into the bedroom.
Exactly.
I truly never ever sleep with my phone. Yeah. But I do understand with parents, I think that for you as parents, I think having your phone in the room, I know, I understand why.
No, mine's always in my room, always. And then my alarm's on my phone. I mean, it's just always there, yeah.
No, it really shouldn't. It absolutely disturbs your sleep completely. So in terms of that perfect night's sleep and looking these are the elements. But another thing would be journaling. Again, research that has a really positive impact on your sleep. If you were in bed and you couldn't sleep and you're tossing and turning for, 15, 20 minutes, get up out of your bed. Don't, because our brain is such an associative machine, massive. And so if it associates being in bed and not sleeping, then you're setting yourself up for the next night of not sleeping. So things like that really will help in terms of a perfect night's sleep.
So in your mind, what would be the perfect night's sleep? What would that look like? Is there like a sort of routine to sort of get there as well?
Yeah, I need to do very proper. So it's like a long ceremony for that. I always tell you. So I think the most important is like before you go to sleep, you need to really relax your mind. You need to, let you rest and not to think of, all of these problem issues, pressure, what you have. And then for me, I want to do the first thing is I put my phone in the living room, not in the bedroom. Good. So you don't really think of that, like who's calling you, or you have all of this, like keep your mind very stressed. Yeah, exactly. And then I will just, put a hot tea, and I'll really recommend like chamomile, because like Chinese food always chamomile, like help you to sleep. And then like you take a hot bath of shower.
Yes.
And yeah, and then like you relax, and I put a lot of lotion to make sure, like lavender. Also nowadays there are a lot of products, even like the shower. It's like sleeping shower. It's just lavender flavor, But then I think that it's like a perfect marketing, but like it give you the smell, like help you to sleep. And also like I remember I was in Aix-en-Provence. I was in France that time, because they're very famous for the lavender there. I bought so many things, a lot of a lot useless also, but I ship all that. I remember I bought one pillow. It really smells like all lavender flavor. I don't know, it's working enough, but for me, like psychologically, you feel like it helps you to sleep, So, and with that also, it's something very interesting. It's like, I don't know if you know, like the Chinese gua sha. So you have the face gua sha, so it's like lifting your face, but we have a little bit gua sha. It's kind of like you massage your feet a little bit, because like under your feet there are so many different sensory nerve endings. Yeah. There are a lot of points can really help you to relax and help you to sleep, and then.
So I can't end on that note without saying, when you were using the products on your, bath time, and there are so many products out there now, but one of the best ones is anything that contains magnesium. And magnesium is the sleep mineral, and that relaxes our central nervous system. Now, if you were to take a magnesium capsule and
when to take
1 hour before bedtime, 1 hour before, and interestingly, we know that magnesium now, definitely as premenopausal or menopausal, it actually is building your brain and reduces the likelihood of Alzheimer's and dementia. So magnesium is really, really important for lots of things, not just sleep.
But what's the portion? Because magnesium, you have 400 mg, different. So what?
I see the effervescent tablets, and actually, funnily enough, I take those if I'm nervous before bed.
Yeah.
In the morning, if I'm like stressed, like, oh my God,
Yeah.
And then sometimes it happens, and there's always anxiety and adrenaline and everything. I always take a magnesium.
I mean, there's so much we could do a whole podcast just on magnesium. But and there's lots of research say when you combine different types of magnesium, like 3 different types of magnesium, that really is so helpful for your sleep. But really the one that is recognized for sleep is magnesium glycate. So that really helps with your sleep. But going back to if you take it as a capsule, if you have a bath and have a soak in magnesium flakes, for example, bicarbonate of sodium, magnesium, that is 5 times more effective having a bath in magnesium, having than one capsule. Yes. Yeah, it's because our skin is the largest organ of the body. And so we are absorbing it. So that was great advice. So well done you in terms of putting that on your skin. And I say it's one of the things that I will say to my parents, if they have a child who is really quite anxious about sleep, there's really nice oils now that contain magnesium and have that as part of their bath time routine. So there's lots of things that we can do. This has been wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah, it's really good.
So again, just to say a huge thank you for being part of this conversation.
So many things.
Every single podcast episode. It's so amazing.
But I think it's the sharing of information, and that's what's really the driving force behind the podcast, is the sharing of information, because we all have so much knowledge, all of us. And again, if we can educate. So in terms of sleep and getting our best sleep, recharge, reset, and absolutely you'll be able to conquer whatever it is that you want to do.